Okay, so good morning, everybody. We're at the Ignite podcast studio. We got Evie Cara George, director of Ignite. This is why you normally do the intros because I stumble.
I stumble too. But one thing I am really bad at is actually introducing myself.
Yeah.
I forget my title.
You never forget your name. Thank God.
I don't forget my name, but I do forget my title.
Well, we got Coach Ed here. You don't know who Coach Ed is. You're going to learn about him, but Ed Grata is here. He's here to talk about our ambassador program for the Better Business Bureau. And how does that relate to Ignite? You just explained to him about what Ignite is. And it all goes together because we're one brand. So, Ed, good morning. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Good morning. Ed Grata is my name. And I'm been here for 15 minutes, and I'm already learning. I already know 100% more about the Better Business Bureau than I did before. So you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
What's your background? Who are you?
Good question.
What's important to you?
Who are any of us?
Right.
I've had, like we were talking the other day, and I feel like my career has had two phases. One was the first one was the traditional get a college degree, get a master's degree, go to work in an office, and boy, I didn't like that very much. I was good at certain things, and I think I told you I was a project manager, and I loved working with people and meeting goals, and then I really should find this guy and choke him, because a guy came along one day and said, you know, Ed, with your personality, you should go into sales. You'd be so good at sales. And I said, and then of course they waved the dollars in front of me. And I said, oh, I'm going to go into sales. That's a good idea. And I went home and told my wife, I'm going into sales. I got a new job. This is going to be great. I'm going to travel around and meet people and sell them. At the time I was selling printing and marketing services. And about a year later, I was about to get fired, and I was doing some soul searching. And I thought, man, I'm not very good at this. The people that I work for, I don't think want me around anymore. What is going on? And I realized I hate this. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not good at it. I don't like doing it. It was such a game. I don't know if you guys know anything about the printing industry, but I was losing.
I was in food sales.
So I was losing $100,000 deals over 50 cents. You know, I was going in, my boss at the time, sweet man, but born and raised in Richmond, had his way of doing things, and I would go to him and I would, I would say, somebody's doing this for, $2 a thousand less than us. And if we can match it, we can have the job. Can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? Well, that I wouldn't make any money. That's a crazy price. I said, well, somebody's doing it. So it just became such a game, and I'm not a game guy. You and I have had very many conversations, but just tell me what's up. I'm a straight shooter. I like that in return. So that kind of resulted in my saying, yeah, I'm not an office guy. I'm an outside, help people reach their goals guy, hence the Coach Grata email address. And I started working for a bunch of different companies that put on triathlons and marathons and other endurance type events. And man, I loved it. That was now, no one's getting rich doing that, mind you, but it was such a change. And even my wife said, 6 months, a year later, my wife said, man, look at you. You're happy. You're not coming home crabby. So I branched out into, I started coaching. Like every father, I coached my kids in all their sports from the time they were like 6. But I started coaching at the middle school level and the high school level. I coached track and cross country. I coached soccer, in addition to the money-making things that I was doing. And, man, just changed my whole situation.
So, as a consumer, you've been a consumer for a few years now in your life, you and your family. How do you make decisions of where to go to buy something? Do you think there's a lot of information out there to guide a consumer, or you're really lost and you just go to Amazon or you go to a retail store that you know the name? How do you shop?
I don't think there's nearly enough information to help. And this is just off the top of my head because I don't know these questions. I don't think there's nearly enough information to guide consumers. I don't think there's nearly enough information to guide us in who we vote for or where we shop or whatever. I used to be a huge Starbucks guy. Mm-hmm. I was an everyday Starbucks guy. I was a regular at like 4 different Starbucks. I had a pretty bad problem. I went to rehab. It's fine now. It's fine now. But in fact, just recently, I realized, first of all, I'm spending an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah.
But I can't resist that green circle with the lady. And what is she, a mermaid or something?
I didn't sure I don't go. I'm a Wawa guy.
Good. Stay there. But it's, and I don't know why I'm doing this because it was social and my friends were there.
Right.
And then, crowds change at these different locations. And I realized I'm just going to go. What am I doing? So I bought a coffee machine at home and now I actually make better coffee at home.
Amazing, isn't it?
I was just telling my wife just the other day, I said, we're having Starbucks, and I said, I think I'm making better coffee.
It's terrible. I got a Breville machine, make my own cup.
This is what I'm saying.
Drives it down.
So I think we just get, I'm a huge routine guy. I'm a habit guy. And so, Starbucks, where I get my gas.
Evie, that's going to lead us into where we're going. So you've been around. Have you ever done BNI groups? Have you ever gone to these groups that get together, pass out business cards, and you're supposed to give leads to each other? Have you ever gone in that route?
I have.
And Evie's going to give you her thought about it after you share your thought. And we've got so many people going to Panera, Starbucks, and they're calling it work. They can't write a check for $1,000. They can't make 30 days worth of payments. They don't have that money in the bank. And they're yet going to these things over and over. The Chamber of Commerce has a luncheon once a month. You spend $30. If you're a member, you get it for $25. You sit around for two hours, have a meal at some hotel, listen to some talking heads. They all report everything's great. Meanwhile, everybody there is looking for the same thing, a job or an opportunity for a career. Like you had a job and then you found your passion.
Yes.
And you're 100% right. So do you ever do these kind of groups? Do you know what I'm talking about? And what are your thoughts about them?
I've been to dozens of them.
Great. I didn't know that. Great.
I don't do them anymore.
Okay. Why?
I think at those events, there's a lot of talking, but not a lot of listening. I discovered in the ones that I was going. Now, when I was a kid, I actually did an internship at the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce when I graduated from college 1 million years ago. And that was great because I was a kid and everyone thought, oh, look, here's this kid. He's wearing a tie and he wants to come up and shake my hand. And that was great. But when I was a peer, everybody you could tell I'm talking to you and I can see in your eyes that you're just waiting for me to shut up so that you can go. And you collect 100 business cards and that's fantastic. And you go home and you put them in your little book, right? You have your little folder.
I lose them at the bottom of my bag.
Or they fall to the bottom of your bag, or they end up under your car seat.
Yeah, or in a desk in my office. I never see them.
And so like I said, everyone's talking, but no one's listening. And I went and said, and when you first leave those things, you think, man, that was great. I met Barry and I met Evie, and this is great. And I'm gonna reconnect with them. But that doesn't happen.
Superficial.
It is, and I'll tell you, if I could, just one more story that's really funny. And this is a fundraising thing. I think I was telling you I worked for this organization that put on free fitness programs for underserved communities in Richmond, and that's a guy you should have on the show, actually. And they do a thing in Richmond once a year. I can't think of what it's called, but it's a fundraising thing where you go out and get pledges, if you will, and then somebody matches that, and the business community is going to help each other out, and we're all going to make money for our nonprofits. I wish I could think of the name of it. And I got so jazzed because, as you and I have spoken, that's my thing. Shaking hands and kissing babies. I'll go get you the money. Oh, yeah. That's my thing. And I came home. I came back to the office. I was so excited. I told my boss, this is going to be great. I said, how much did you make last year when you did this? And he said, like $1,000. I said, we're going to make $10,000. This is going to be great. And as the process started, I started having the brakes put on me. And all those people that were there, they were doing the same thing as me. They all went home excited. And I think we raised like $800 because there wasn't the communication. There wasn't that reciprocal, I've asked you a question, now I'm going to sit here and listen to your answer.
Actively listening.
Correct. And it was so sad because I thought we're gonna break the record. What's the record? Let's go. Let's make $10,000, $50,000 here for this nonprofit. It's a gold mine, and I've worked for a lot of these places where the place is a gold mine, but management doesn't take the reins off to let the doers go do, if you will.
You're the first person to use the word doer. I got a job at Haley in 1999 from New Jersey. I became a partner because Doug said he wanted a doer. I didn't even think it was a real word.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Oh,
I was drinking during the interview because I was up in New Jersey, and he caught me at the wrong moment. I think I was drinking some Harp, as I remember. My wife and I laughed about this afterwards. But I got the job after I came down and stuff. But he said he wanted a doer, and so before I came to Richmond, I looked up the word from New Jersey. What is doer? And I've never stopped using it. So what we are doing here, right, is building communication. I'm going to let Evie finish it up. We're 12 minutes. We went a lot further than we want. But I do want you to know that the whole program, Better Business Bureau, ABs, accredited businesses, is all about listening. I run 42 counties. I being this team is 8 of us. And 42 counties is a lot. We can't get people to listen more than 10, 20 seconds. No. They don't hear it. I could be telling them, I've got an idea to help you grow your business, and they didn't hear a word I said.
You could be handing them a bucket of money.
$3,000 elsewhere, and I would have done it for no charge. They'll hire a consultant because they're at Panera's talking to consultants, and they got these people that are bleeding all over LinkedIn and stuff. These people were so close to suicide. You can see the mental health. We're messed up. We are a messed up society. We got business people, F you on their T-shirts, F you, and they're taking glamour shots. And no statement here, but again, I'm not going to take a glamour shot by myself. Nobody wants to see it. So let alone some of these women and guys, what are they doing? They're sent sick mentally, and we're trying to identify that very direct. So, Evie, talk about those little groups that you're talking about to Ed, and what is your philosophy? Young lady, college degree, you've been around a little bit. You've been raised by a family that had you working when you were 3, something like that in the diner world,
running
the Greek
right
diner.
under the tables.
right. Getting the chewing gum off the tables probably.
There you go.
So anyway.
That sounds like a restaurant.
Spend a minute, spend a minute and then we'll wrap it up.
Spent a lot of time sleeping in booths, but one of the things that I've learned with these groups, and Ed, I completely agree with you, and I'm going to use a story as an example too. I said I worked in food sales. I met my best friend when I was working for this company. And I realized that I could not, it was because I met her that I realized there was no way I could do the job that she did. I mean, she was built for it. Yeah. And and I'll tell you this, she's the youngest person in the entire company to become a district manager. The youngest.
She's a doer.
She's a doer.
She's a big time.
She's a doer. And she was built for that job. But one of the reasons why she made the sales, she has lifelong clients, people love her, is because she goes in to these businesses. She doesn't go to groups. She doesn't waste her time with it. Other business people, the only people that matter to her are her customers. or potential customers. And she actively listens. The first thing, she doesn't try to sell anything to anybody. First business she walks into, she says, what are some of the problems you're having?
Exactly.
What are some of the problems you're having? I want to know. I want to be your partner. I want to help you.
That's right.
And so that's why she is where she is today. That's why she keeps growing, because she goes in and she listens to these people, their problems, their pain points, and she finds solutions to their problems.
That's an amazing story.
She does not go to these groups, pass out her business card. She doesn't even have business cards. And she gives her cell phone number to these customers, say, please call me. I always have my phone on me. And she does. Even on a Saturday when she's supposed to be off, we're hanging out, having drinks at home, and she's answering her phone. I'm like, I'm spending time with you. She's like, my customers come first.
And, to finish this up, so Grant Cardone, Sell to Survive, old car salesman, worth a couple billion now, got into real estate very smartly. But he said, I'll never forget this, and I thought it was pretty arrogant. It was about 2002 at the Holiday Inn Kroger Center on Midlothian. And he said, hang out with 5 people that make more money than you. And it wasn't just about the money. It was what goes into that. The chemistry, the end result is the money. Everything else you do is the formula to get the money. So anybody that goes to work for money is brain dead. I mean, they're not going to make it. And Grant would say that. And I took that to heart. And you start to realize what he meant. And then, time is money, money's time. And then he talks about just what Kiki does, right? Is
KK.
Is it KK?
KK.
Kiki. Oh, sorry.
He said he had no memory.
Yeah.
There it is.
So there it is. So it's a test here. So the one thing he said is go to lunch each day with not your friends. Don't go out with the car salesman, the mechanics. And we do that go to Denny's or go to a diner and look around and see everybody with the same uniform patch on. They're just whining. They're not growing at all. They're complaining. They're not sitting there strategizing how to help the organization that they're part of. They want to sabotage that organization or look for the new job. So Grant was very smart. We're going to wrap it up. Ed Grotta, the coach, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
you do
I
your
did
finish.
want to say one
Please
more
do.
thing before we close out.
Of course, your show.
You are an average of who you hang out with. So if you want to be a better person, you want to be smarter, you want to work harder, you want to work smarter, you are an average of the people that you hang out with. Don't think little of yourself because you're hanging out with people that are smarter than you. That's a good thing. It means you want to progress in life. You want to be better.
I wish Grant Cardone explained it that way because I wouldn't have fought that one.
My grandfather always said, you are an average of who you hang out with.
And the opposite is true, too.
Yes.
You hang out with people beneath
Exactly.
They will drag you down.
It goes both ways. So there's the ugly side and the good side.
Yeah.
But on that note, if you are watching on YouTube, our YouTube channel is BBB Central VA. Please make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment down below. It really helps the algorithm out. And if you're listening on Spotify, BBB Sharing, please follow us and share it out. Thank you.
Yeah.